Welcome back to Golden Blue Dude, everybody. I am Golden Blue Dude. Well, you know what? I'm the face and the voice of Golden Blue Dude, but I consider each and one of you, if you're watching this channel, if you're a subscriber to this channel, if you hit the like, if you share anything that you contribute to this channel, I consider you Golden Blue Dude. And what we do here is videos every single day, college football and college basketball. So if you like my content and you want more access to it, please hit the like and subscribe button. We just hit 5,000 subscribers, and our new goal, it's a big one, 10,000 by the end of the year, but I can't do it without you. So this year's college football season is done, over with. Georgia, the national champions, and a lot of sports YouTubers, especially if they're college football related, they sort of kind of die down. They don't go away, but they scale back a lot because the off season, it's a little dull, but not here. Not here. In fact, my grind is actually more so in the off season. We do not stop. We keep it going. And the one thing that I like to look at is next year. It is never too early to talk about the next season. Now, I've already given out my way too early top 25. Of course, that's going to change because of the transfer portal, injuries, all that stuff. So I'll update that throughout the off season. But on today's video, I want to talk about the best matchups of week 1, the top 10 matchups. There's actually a few good ones out there. Now, number 10 and number 9, not all that great, but just kind of to fill out this list. Number 10, I have Memphis at Mississippi State. Memphis finished the season 6-6. Of course, the Hawaii Bowl was canceled, so they didn't get to play in their bowl. They have the number 60 recruiting class. That's not great, but Memphis has been hit and miss sometimes. Sometimes they've had a great team, sometimes not so great. Now, for Mississippi State, they finished 7-6. They did get to go to their bowl, and they lost to Texas Tech in the Liberty Bowl, 34-7. They got whooped. They have the number 24 recruiting class. That's pretty good. Top 25. A lot better than a lot of people can say. So I think this is an interesting matchup. It has the potential to be a good game, but I think Memphis will be overmatched. It is at Mississippi State, so I expect the Bulldogs to beat Memphis probably by a couple touchdowns. Number 9, as far as the best games in week 1 in 2022. Western Michigan at Michigan State. Now, Western Michigan, they finished 8-5. They did beat Nevada in the Quick Lane Bowl 52-24. They whooped them, and they have the number 112th recruiting class. That's not good at all. Now, for Michigan State, they finished the season 11-2. They beat Pitt in the Peach Bowl 31-21. I appreciate that, Michigan State. And they have the number 17 recruiting class. So on paper, this should be a butt whooping. But Western Michigan has caught people off guard in the past, specifically last year when they beat Pitt at Pitt, so they could do it again. Now, I expect Michigan State to win this game fairly comfortably, but do not overlook Western Michigan. They are capable of upsetting you, Michigan State, and setting you on a downward spiral for the 2022 college football season. You need to take them seriously so you can start off the season right. Number 8. Boise State at Oregon State. This is an interesting matchup. Boise State finished 7-5. Their bowl was canceled, the Sun Bowl. They have the number 55 recruiting class. Nothing to brag about, but decent for a group of 5. At Oregon State went 7-6. They did lose to Utah State in the LA Bowl, 24-13. And they have the number 50 recruiting class. So the recruiting classes are actually fairly even. And Boise State, I think, will have a bounce back season. Now, this is on the road. Oregon State's going to be decent. I think this is going to be a good game, though. And this could determine if one of these teams goes to a bowl or not. That's how important this game is for both of these teams. Number 7 is going to be LSU and Florida State. This game is going to be played at the Superdome, so basically a home game for LSU. LSU finished the season 6-7. They lost to Kansas State in the Texas Bowl 42-20. We all thought this was going to be a closer matchup than that. Nope, they got blasted. They do have the number 19 recruiting class and a new head coach in Brian Kelly. Now, for Florida State, they finished 5-7, didn't make a bowl, but the number 14 recruiting class. If Florida State wants to have a bounce back year, they must win this game, and it would help with their confidence and momentum. I kind of like Florida State in the upset here. Number 6, Georgia versus Oregon. The reason this is not higher on the list is because where it's being played, and it's sort of a mismatch in my opinion. Georgia finished the season 14-1 national champions, and they have the number 3 recruiting class. Now for Oregon, they finished season 10-4, lost to Oklahoma in the Alamo Bowl 47-32, and they just have the number 64 recruiting class. I just don't see this being a competitive game. I think it's going to be a blowout. I think Georgia could beat Oregon by at least 2 touchdowns, but who knows? The Ducks could surprise me, and it is being played in Mercedes-Benz Stadium, which is, of course, in Atlanta. close to Georgia. So even home field advantage will favor Georgia. Number 5, this is a good one. This could be very interesting. Utah at Florida. Utah finished season 10-4. They did lose to Ohio State in the Rose Bowl, but it was an epic Rose Bowl. Final score 48-45. They have a recruiting class ranking of number 35. Florida finished season a disappointing 6-7. I tried to warn you Florida fans that you were in for a big fall for 2021. Didn't want to believe me. It happened. Finished season 6-7. Lost to UCF in the Gasparilla Bowl 29-17. And you only have the recruiting class ranking of number 41. That's not good. Utah could go on the road and beat Florida. So a road win against an SEC team, that's a great start to the season. But Florida does have some talent, and Billy Napier is a good coach, and it's at Florida, so you can't count out the Gators in this matchup. Number 4 is going to be Cincinnati at Arkansas. Cincinnati finished the season 13-1, did lose to Alabama in the playoffs 27-6. They have the number 38 recruiting class. Now for Arkansas, they finished season 9-4, beat Penn State in the Outback Bowl 24-10. And they have the number 21 recruiting class. Now, on paper, this looks like it could be a blowout because Cincinnati loses a lot, and Arkansas has the better recruiting class. But Arkansas also lost a pretty good chunk from this year's team. So this could be a better game than people realize. I know people are saying, well, Gold and Blue Dude, Cincinnati's been good for a while. Yeah, but they were relying more on experience because they don't recruit at an extremely high level. Number 38, that's okay, but that's not going to sustain getting to the playoffs year after year. So this is a tricky matchup for Cincinnati, and it is on the road to a hostile SEC team. Those Arkansas fans are going to be crazy, so it could get out of hand for Cincinnati. Number 3, the backyard brawl. Yes, I'm very excited about this. West Virginia at Pitt. West Virginia finished the season 6-7. They lost to Minnesota in the Guaranteed Rate Bowl 18-6, and I warned West Virginia fans this was a mismatch, and West Virginia was not going to win, and it could be a significant loss. It wasn't a horrific loss, but if you watch the game, Minnesota was clearly the better team. We do come in this season with the number 33 recruiting class ranking. That's not counting all the great transfers. Once you factor that in, we're in the 20s, like 22, 23. So pretty good recruiting class for West Virginia. Now for Pitt, they finished season 11-3. They did win the ACC, but they lost to Michigan State in the Peach Bowl 31-21, and they have a recruiting class ranking of just number 65. That's not good. Now they did get Keaton Slovis in the transfer portal, but West Virginia kind of upped the ante and got Graham Harrell, the offensive coordinator and quarterback coach for Keaton Slovis. So we got the guy that knows the guy. That's going to be a good matchup, and Pitt has difficulty filling up Heinz Field. Don't worry, Pitt fans. West Virginia will make sure that stadium is packed out beyond capacity. Number 2, the second best game that I think is going to happen in week 1, Penn State at Purdue. Penn State finished season 7-6. They lost to Arkansas in the Outback Bowl 24-10, but they have the number 6 recruiting class ranking. They have a lot of starters coming back for this team, so they could have a bounce back season, but tough opening game at Purdue. Purdue finished season 9-4, beat Tennessee in the Music City Bowl 48-45 in overtime. That was a thrilling bowl game, one of the best bowl games in the entire bowl season. They have the number 35 recruiting class. The big thing is James Franklin. His job could get really hot if he doesn't perform this year. Back-to-back not so great seasons, so he could be coaching for his job if Penn State doesn't perform well in this game. And it's a Big Ten matchup. What more can you want? Purdue has home field advantage, so it's going to be tricky for Penn State. I think they'll have the talent to beat Purdue, but actually predicting them to beat Purdue, that's a different story. But I think it's going to be a good game. That brings us to the number 1 game of week 1 of the 2022 college football season. The game that I think is going to be hyped the most, probably the most watched game of week 1, and that's Notre Dame at Ohio State. Notre Dame finished season 11-2, lost to Oklahoma State in the Fiesta Bowl 37-35. They have the number 7 recruiting class. Now for Ohio State, 11-2, beat Utah in the Rose Bowl 48-45, and they have the number 4 recruiting class in the nation. If this game were at Notre Dame, I think it would be even better because I do think Ohio State is the better team. I think Ohio State's going to be an elite team next year. I have Ohio State making the playoffs and probably the national championship. So the fact that this is on the road for Notre Dame, they have a new head coach, that's going to be tricky. This will tell us where Notre Dame is under this new coaching regime going into 2022. Of course, we know Notre Dame has the talent. They're recruiting at a high level, but sometimes it's very tricky whenever a new coaching staff takes over. So we'll see what happens. But as far as name recognition, Notre Dame at Ohio State, both of these teams finished 11-2 last year. Yeah, this game's going to be mega hyped, and I'm excited for this game. I'm looking forward to it a lot. So there you go, my list of the top 10 games in week 1 of 2022. Y'all let me know in the comment section what you think about this. That's all I got for this show. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you on my next show.